Next, we're going to work on the overheads. Now, if you weren't sure by now, the overheads really make up the sound of the kit. So if we turn them off, it really sounds different. All the width and the liveness of the kit comes from the overheads. And because of that, I prefer to treat them as overheads and not as cymbal mics. So let's start by EQing them. And because I'm treating this as overheads and not as cymbal mics, the one thing I don't want to do is roll off the low end. And make them sound thin, because it ruins the kit sound when we blend it back in. The drums start to sound very small. So we're just going to add some top end to make them sound prettier. Just a bit. Let's hear it back with the kit. Just makes it sound a bit more clear. Now let's check out the rooms. Now we only have one room mic, and it sounds like this. Let's start by compressing it to make the room sound even bigger, and it can pump more. Let's bring the knee up all the way so it sounds real smooth. Bring the ratio up to about 10:1. And let's play with the attack and the release as we bring down the threshold. Notice with a quick attack, we cut off all the transients. Let's play around with the release. We could add some makeup gain to make up for how much we're compressing. Let's hear this with the rest of the kit. Now, one thing I'm not liking about this, it sounds too mono. So let's create a stereo room. Let's pan this to the left. Let's duplicate the track, right-click it, duplicate. We'll name this one Drum Room Right, and the first one Drum Room Left. Make sure we pan them left and right. But if we play them right now, it still sounds mono. We have to change one of them. So let's add a delay to the right one. Delay, mod delay 3. Let's add about 10 milliseconds, which should be enough to make it sound stereo. Let's blend that with the rest of the drums. Let's open up the mixer, and let's first select both of them, hit Control G on the PC or Command G on the Mac, and let's group them. Name the group Drum Rooms. Now we can move them together just by grabbing them. That's a lot more live. Now let's add some reverb to the whole kit. And we'll do that by going to the snare, go to our sends, and choose new track. We'll create a mono aux input and name it Drumverb. Let's move it over here at the end. Let's put a reverb on this. Deverb mono stereo. So again, it's a mono send to a stereo effect. I'll choose room 2, large. Make the decay a bit shorter. Bring down the diffusion and the high frequency cut to about 6 kilohertz, so it's not so bright. And bring up the low pass filter to about 4 kilohertz. And now let's hear that on the snare. Once again, we'll solo safe the effect return, solo the snare, and send it some reverb. Let's copy that send to the other drums. And just like our effects, we can hold an Alt on the PC, Option on the Mac, and copy them to the hi-hat, the floor tom, the overheads, and the room. I'm just going to put it on one room, and in fact, I don't need it on the hi-hat or the kick. Let's hear that. Let's go a bit higher. Let's recopy it again. And we can control it from the effect return. And I want to try one other thing to really compress our drum kit, and that's creating a crush bus, which is where we bus all the drums to another track and mix it back in, but crushed. So let's start with our snare again, create a new track, but this time we'll make it stereo, name it crush bus. Again, we'll move it over here, solo safe it, go back to our send, bring it all the way up, Alt on the PC, Option on the Mac, and turn on the feature right here, which is going to duplicate the panning from our track to our send. So it's going to mimic a drum mix. And we'll put this on the kick, the hi-hat, the floor tom, the overheads, and both rooms. So now the crush bus is being added to our regular drums. But to hear it separately, let's bus our drums somewhere else. So let's select all the drums, Alt Shift on the PC, Option Shift on the Mac, and let's send them to a new track, which we're not going to use. So we could delete that new track, but it moved our drums to that aux. So we're not going to hear them. But we are going to hear them through the crush bus. Now let's compress or over-compress the crush bus. Let's duplicate it from the rooms. We're already smashing it, but let's smash it even more. Now we can mix this back in with the rest of the drums. So let's select all the drums and switch them back to a stereo output. So now we're hearing them again. Now we can blend in the crushed bus. Turn back on the reverb. Let's hear it with the bass. So it gives us a lot of options. So in the next video, we're going to bring in the bass guitar.